Hey, Mike Evans, Blue Root Properties broker with eXp Realty. Today we're here to talk about earnest money. It seems like it's just a little line item that's on there. It doesn't play a significant role. Wrong. It is a huge player. What the earnest money is in your offer, you have to signal to the seller essentially how much skin do you have in a game, how much investment do you actually have in this, and you're just not going to back out at the last second. Well, how much do you put down? Well, it has to be readily available and liquid, because once this offer is accepted, that amount that you signaled on your earnest money has to be deposited in escrow within 2 to 3 business days, depending upon what's agreed upon in the contract. If it's not deposited, or the full amount is not deposited, the buyer is technically in breach of the contract, and therefore the seller is free to potentially accept another offer and kick yours to the side. But let's say you do get your money in there. If you get to close, that earnest money actually will transfer in as a credit to the buyer's closing costs. And if the sellers are actually paying some of the closing costs, the buyers actually might get a refund. So buyers are like, well, what's the big deal? Well, then why don't I just put the whole amount in, of all my closing costs? If it's $15,000, why don't I just put that in? Because I'm just going to get it back anyway. I tell my buyers, hold on one second, that could be a problem, because it's a tremendous amount of risk. While the contracts in Washington State are relatively buyer friendly, there is still some significant risk to the buyer that you could lose that money. What happens within a 21 to 45 day period, no one knows. If you have a life altering event, an emergency, or you get laid off, you may no longer be able to afford to be able to buy that home. And let's say you've already gone through inspection, signed off, they've already had the appraisal and it's good, and you've already gotten your clear to close from your lender saying, hey, your financing is fantastic. And if you walk away from that deal, you potentially could lose that $15,000. So what's the right amount of money? Well, that depends. And that's where I come into play. A lot of my job is to have a conversation with the seller and find out exactly what the competition is like, what they're looking for, what's important in the contract, what's not important. And if there isn't a tremendous amount of competition, why risk your amount in your earnest money? Well, hey, if there's so much risk involved, why doesn't the buyer just put zero money down on earnest money? They could. Or buyers are the ones who dictate how much they put down for earnest money, and they could elect to put nothing at all. Problem with that, if I'm representing the seller, I'm going to advise my seller that's probably not a good idea to accept it. I know the purchase price is high, I know the financing looks great, but that buyer at any point in time could change his or her mind that they don't want the house anymore, whether it be because they don't like the paint color. And now you have lost that time that you've been under contract to try to find another buyer. Any other buyers that might have been interested in your home have now probably found another home. Also, now they see you've come back on market. We all know what that looks like, right? So without earnest money in there and without repercussions for the buyer, that's a very significant risk to your seller.